Hello again, everybody. Out here getting ready to try to pull this bed off this Silverado. Got her home, and we'll take a closer look at a couple of things. Alright, you can see, well, I actually put, so I can move it around and stuff without tearing my cab and my bed up, I actually put a 2x4 in between, because it is kind of floppy. But we've got engine hoist, and I had to use Old Green's bumper jack, which I do not use anymore. And if you have one of these, the best purpose for it is something like this. Don't use that to lift a vehicle. That thing right there will absolutely, it'll kill you. Those were a very dangerous jack. But anyway, besides the point, I got straps run across. I had to extend that out so that I could get in the center of the bed, and it should lift it. Now getting it pulled back, because I can't pull the truck up after lifting the bed because of the fact that the frame will not hold the truck together. So the bed is all that's holding it together right now. So when I pick this up, I'm going to have to hook something to this and drag it back. That way we can get the bed out of the way. Of course, you've seen it right there. You know, you got all of the rust. We got to get bed bolts out and stuff, because I think it's still bolted right here somewhere. And of course, it has to be still bolted in the front there. That one is still good, because if not, the truck would have fell apart by now. Because as you can see, there is nothing holding this rear spring. So basically what would happen would be, without the bed, this part would just fall down, and this part right here would just go, well, where's my finger? This part right here would just go straight up, so the whole back of the truck would sit down. So I won't be able to move the truck once the bed comes off. So I have to be able to move the bed. Okay, so you can see I've got it jacked up and got blocks underneath, so that way the truck is not just going to fall down whenever I take this off. First, I've got this, and I assume I'm going to need a cheater pipe, as they call it. And we'll take some of this stuff under there with me to spray it down. See if these bed bolts will come loose. Alright, so I got two bed bolts to come off. There's one laying right here. That's the one that bolts it here. The one that bolts down here, I couldn't get out. I had to cut it or grind it. There was no bed bolt at all in the back. No bed bolt in the back here. And there was the same front bed bolt about right here. I'll have to show you once I get the bed off. Might be able to see this one. Okay, you can see, yeah, okay, you can see where both of them mounted. The front one is right there. The middle one is right there. You can see the bolt still sticking down a little bit. I had to grind it off. I could not get that to loosen. So we'll have to deal with that. But also, to get this bed off, you have this little block right here. And this has the wires plugged into it for the tail lights. You have to unplug two of them that go up into the bed. And over on this side, inside the fuel door, you've got these that you have to take loose in order for the filler neck to go down in there. Alright, so let's take these off and see if we can lift this bed up. I guess you never know till you try. Yeah, I don't know either. All right, so you can tell what would have happened had I not blocked the front of it up. Get those 2x4s out of the way. Yeah, if I had not blocked it up, this part would have curled up because there's really nothing there. You can tell this frame is just, it's gone. That's why we're redoing it. But let's assess what all we need. Now we need this crossbar right here, just slightly. You know, it's. I don't think we can reuse it. I'm pretty sure. Knowing me, I might try. No, that's gone. This one right here is probably gone too. Now I'm not going to be replacing the frame all the way up to here, but I may just go ahead and replace that cross member anyway. Now as you can see, this part of the frame, yeah, this is surface rust scale. There is a lot of it that has flaked off. This right here is what rusts out your frame. This stuff sitting in here. So we're going to get rid of all this, and we're going to check the integrity of this frame and see. Looks like we got a hole. No, that is a actual bolt hole or something. This looks a little weak. We may plate that. Okay, now this part, you know, we got the shock absorber right here, which bolts on, and I think this mount, I think I can actually salvage this mount, cut it off of there, and yeah, I can make all this still work. Not actually reusing this. I'm going to put another. I got a piece of pipe laying over there. I'm going to put in because it just holds up the fuel tank. And then for the shock mount, I'm going to triangulate it so it doesn't, it's close to the side anyway, but I'm also going to triangulate it and gusset it over to the main part of the frame, which this part of the frame is going to be gone anyway. Alright, now, right in here is where the frame really starts being gone. Now you can see there's also a bit of an offset, I guess, but I think we can work with that. I think it offsets, and then it looks like it comes back out here where the spring hanger is. So, alright, I think all we need to do is we need to, well, first off, get rid of that fuel tank. Well, not get rid of it, but get it out of there. And start cutting stuff off. And then we'll start putting stuff back. So yeah, even the exhaust, you can see, needs a little work, but we can sure take care of it. Let's see what we can get done here. Okay, now that you can actually see where everything's at, we can really assess the damage, which is a little bit worse than what I thought. But I mean, I knew this part back here was gone. But on this side, I started, let me get my hammer. On this side, I've been noticing the driver's side is substantially worse than the passenger side. But what I did is I took this and I went around, and you don't want to be real gentle. You want to hit it, and any weak spots will reveal themselves. See how it bends? But you want to pull off and kind of wail on it. And see, that is not bending. Not bending. That's surface rust. That stuff right there is okay. We can grind that off. Sandblast it a little bit. And be fine. It does have a new brake line running back. We'll have to make another bracket. But, alright. This part of the frame right here, the bottom, is rusted out. On this part that I actually thought was still kind of good. But we can fix that. You know, we'll go all the way up. Up to right there. And we'll plate it. But for the back part, let me show you what I've got. Okay, so here are my new frame rails. And you can tell I figure all the way to this front spring hanger. And I'm gonna, part of this is still good. I have to cut the bottom of it off, of course, and cut this off of it. That's fine. I'll cut it off all the way. Well, I'm going to have to cut that off all the way up through here and replace it. But for this to sit inside of this other frame, I have to clean all the rust up to where there's none left. And then stick this up inside here. I'm going to weld it to this frame. And I'm also going to bolt it. There's already a couple of holes. I think I'll just drill new holes. Yeah. I'm going to drill holes through both. After I get it, I'm going to weld it in just to hold it until I can get everything bolted too. Yeah. But you can see how thick this metal is. I think this metal, even if I were to not paint it, this metal would probably never rust all the way out, but I'm going to paint it anyway. Clean it up and paint it. And also, one thing that I kind of wish that automakers would do, see how this channel has a slope right here. This is perfect for what we want to do, because the reason the bottom part of this frame rusted out is, well, let me get over here closer so I can show you. This right here rolls up and it holds all this junk. And this junk sits here and just rusts. So, if they were to manufacture vehicles with a slope like this, then the stuff would just pretty much, as you're driving, it would just pretty much naturally fall out, because it's going to shake and fall downhill. So let's cut some of these pieces out and see what we can do with our new pieces. That's got some of it apart. Okay, so I'm gonna clean some of this rust off and get down to bare metal. Got that one kind of tacked over there, but let's clean this off and see how far we've got good metal on this side. Alright, so here is the frame rail. Got one tacked in already. That I cleaned. Just need to clean a little farther. Actually, I need to pull this back out a little. Yeah. You can see this kind of fits in there just right, and I got it all cleaned, so there's a good solid surface to weld to. I cut out the bad, and we're going to clean the rest of the frame and paint it too, but right now, just trying to get where I'm going to weld it cleaned up. I'm going to weld inside of these, and I'm also going to drill holes and bolt it after I get everything welded. So let's see if we can get everything lined up so we can stick it together. By the way, I got all my measurements here. I measured everything so that I know where stuff goes. So yeah, that's where everything goes. So let's put it there. These things right here are always a pain to get off of there. I mean, I have spent hours before heating these bolts up with torches, trying to burn the rubber out of it and everything. These usually are very, very hard to deal with. But when you got one of these, it's not mine, but this is my brother-in-law's. I borrowed it. Let's just see if it can take this off. Took the nut off. That's not generally the main problem. The main problem is getting it out of the rubber. Usually this will never move. I mean, this is, some of y'all that have redone your spring hangers in the salt belt will know what I'm talking about. Let's see how this does. Can you believe that? It just spun it like. Water it out good for the new bolt. All right, now I guess all we got to do then is start putting this stuff back together, or try to. Let's see what we can do. Well, that slows progress down just a little bit. I let the magic smoke out of my grinder, and from what I've seen with electrical stuff, when you let the magic smoke out, it stops working because it loses its magic. So, but this has been a good grinder. Porter cable, and I've had this. This is one I built Old Green's bedside toolboxes with, so I have had this for a long time, so I can't really complain. Alright, it's been going out though. The bearing has been sounding really weird, and I guess finally it just gave it up. Anyway, what have we got? It is sitting on its own wheels. New spring hangers, new shackles, new frame rails. These cross members are actually shock mounts. I've got to cut that one off. Don't have a grinder now to cut it off with, so I'll have to figure out how to do that, but okay, got to get that off of there. And I think I can reuse that shock mount. The other one, I'm not going to be able to reuse. I'll have to make another one, another shock mount, but I need to get these shocks probably off of here anyway. Well, I may hook them back up just to test drive it, but before I put everything back together, I'm going to put new shocks on the back of it. Because why put the same old rusted out shocks on a new frame and everything? But you can see the frame should be pretty good and solid now. Let me show you this side over here. Okay, this side had a couple more rust holes, so you can see how that side is skinnier there. I may go ahead and do that side like that too, just to make sure. But this side is thicker now because I took the piece of angle and ran it straight down like this, and then I cut out patches to fill in between. So now that frame is really stronger through here, I think, than it used to be, because that is a lot thicker. You can see the frame used to just be that thick. So yeah. And then back here, of course, we got our 6-inch channel iron, which is probably overkill for this light of a vehicle, but I don't want it to rust back out. And this is going to be a cross member right here. May get 2 of them out of it. These cross members should not, shouldn't give, I wouldn't think. It should be pretty strong. But anyway, actually I thought about using, where's it at? It's receiver hitch, but it is not wide enough. I don't know what that actually came off of. It's supposed to have been a Chevy truck, but I don't think it was, because these frame rails are the same distance apart as they used to be, and that won't bolt to them, so it didn't come off a Chevy truck. I don't know where it come from, but anyway, I need to figure out how I'm going to cut that now, because my grinder is shot. So let's see what I can find. Alright, so Here it is. I've got the 7-inch cross member welded in there. Got the whole frame all, well, I still got to replace this cross member. I got to get some more pipe. I may actually do something else other than pipe with that, because I want to make it a little stronger. But anyway, as far as this part of the frame, I think I can take it for a drive. Don't have any shocks on it, so it'll probably bounce a little bit, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. I got to make some shock mounts. I'm going to have to get a grinder first. So before I can grind some more of the rust off, I'm going to have to get a grinder for that too. So that's okay though. Anyway, we're going to go take it for a drive down the creek and back, and I guess that'll do it. I'd say this video's running a little long there, but you can see what all got done. I took that much rust came off of this truck. There's a bumper over there, that's pretty much rust too. That's what came off of the truck, and this is what all I've put back on. I just have the gas tank strapped back up with ratchet straps, just so I can. I want to try it out, see how much it, see if it wobbles. It shouldn't wobble, especially with this big cross member right here. I'm not going to put a spare tire up under there, so it's not going to be in the way of anything. But anyway, I'm going to take this thing for a drive. Probably dark, or getting too dark to film by the time I get back. But I guess that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.